Hi everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello! Surprise, surprise!
Welcome to episode 7 of the Muse. We're having a home visit today. Joelle is here.
Hello!
And it's we wanted to kind of do something different um, and be more closer to each other and also probably closer to you in sharing this. Um, this is what the Muse is about. It's about being spontaneous. Sometimes the format might change, sometimes just other things might happen. Sometimes consistency does not work.
No. Like the new moon in Aquarius, for example.
Right. So
Mhm.
we're getting close to the new moon in Aquarius. We're recording this just a couple of days before, but we are already in the field of this
Yeah.
big time. So new moon in Aquarius.
The muse first,
The Muse.
because we're not recording the same way. So I thought
Mm.
I wanted you to introduce the muse before we start in a more home-based way. Right? Like, what is the muse for you and how did you start with this project?
Thank you for your question. It's spontaneity, trust, going with what feels right, breaking through any boundary related to fear or being ready. Having
Wow.
everything set to start something, which is not usually my comfort zone. I have to have everything ready to move into a new space or just but this is also my nomadic nature. Somehow the flexibility, but uh, it's um it's the same strength that came when the muse came through as a concept or as a not a concept as a spirit and I didn't want to let go of that, not because I it's mine.
Mm.
But I wanted to see, how something that is coming through, where can it take me?
Yes, I mean, honestly, you inspired me as well to just jump and and do something I'm not comfortable with
Mm,
usually.
mm,
For people who don't know, I worked in the field of production behind
mm,
the camera for like more for 20 years plus. And doing astrology and talking and having our discussions, like okay, now you're seeing us like this, but we usually have discussions like that for so long, and thinking of recording them was very uncomfortable at the beginning, at least for me. So now putting this and sharing it with you guys is for us like honestly, it's a privilege. Like when we have like the tiniest commands or people who are watching, or you have no idea how much it makes a difference for us. We take into consideration what you tell us. We want
when you
these.
are nice.
Yes, of course. Please. If you
Sure.
don't have anything nice to say, just don't say
Yes,
it.
thank you. Keep it and maybe channel it somewhere else. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
So, yeah, and honestly, it felt it felt right for this new moon specifically,
Mm,
um, to talk about how we embody things, because whatever healing modality, whatever resource you're using, like the new age now is all about, finding new resources. But we use old resources. Astrology is so old as a system, as a language,
mm,
as a
mm,
way of thinking.
mm,
And shamanism
True.
is so old. Like it's this new moon in Aquarius. First of all, anybody feeling the intensity, the level of
I
intensity?
have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I thought so.
Again, if we feel like we're repeating some common themes here, but um, when we prepare for every episode, we're
Mm.
gonna get back to intensity. But when we have just a check-in call, there's nothing linear. We don't like, there's preparation, but also we want it to be simple because we are getting also feedback like we're not understanding much of what you're sharing. Or, we don't know what astrology is. This is not about teaching astrology.
Or we don't know what shamanism is. So
Or we don't know. I mean, there's more shamans around by now. There's like, this is more common. I'm sorry. But
okay, I'm sorry.
Shamanism has become very accessible. Drop in kind of.
Okay, this is you're getting the gist. You're getting the gist. The thing is, this new moon specifically in Aquarius is happening with a not a somehow uncomfortable discussion with Uranus. Okay, it's a square aspect, and in astrology, when we have planets are in geometrical, hard shapes like an angle, like a square, it means that there is an adjustment needed. Who is Uranus? Uranus is the rebellion archetype. It's the principle of, breaking free. So we thought of starting with the song, I want to break free, because there is
I want to break free.
Yeah, there is a feeling that everybody is like restless. There is this feel of restlessness that is building up until the 10th of February. Here in Beirut, it will be at 12:59 a.m. All the other places, it will be, the 9th of February at 11:59 p.m. Paris, Amsterdam, and 10:59 p.m.
So it
UTC.
depends where you are, this difference in hours.
Yes, and this new moon is happening with this feeling of, okay, first of all, it's the first new moon co-present with Pluto, the lord of the underworld, the intensity, the obsession, the feeling of, taboos, secrets, guilt feeling, all these kind of internal underworld emotions are getting like heightened in the space. And plus we have this square with Uranus that wants us to break free. But like there is an adjustment that needs to happen here. Like, are you breaking free just because you're reacting? Or you're just making progress with yourself? There's a difference of the kind of breaking.
Interesting. Yeah. There's this kind of squeezing that is happening internally, and this is also part of, how sometimes I step into this kind of, energy of laughing at different things and just going into modes where discomfort is part of the experience, and that squeeze is happening and it's felt. Is this inner squeeze bringing us to expand more in order to start something new, build something new, because it's the new moon, start setting up a new way of being
that will help you progress,
that will be, as you said, for the next 20 years. There's a projection from now, so we're not talking about something that is now seeded, and in the next 6 months. We're talking about a lifetime kind of commitment, be it if you're in your 20s, you get to your 40s, by the time the impact of this new moon can maybe
take the first new moon
take full form
in Aquarius with Pluto in Aquarius. So it's the first of 20 new moons in Aquarius.
Wow.
For the next, generation. So
that's wonderful.
It's like when I said in the previous
on the full moon in Leo,
we are marking history. We are, guys. This is honestly, this is it's a privilege, like getting old. All this, I know it's intense. Pluto is intense. Like when you're dealing with primal, like primordial, primal,
Primordial.
primordial, power. It's just,
Like visceral. It's very visceral. It's
you feel like this energy wants you to be conscious, because living unconsciously, everybody can do it. We just wake up in a body and we forget like why we came here until we remember at some point.
or not. We live without.
Some souls don't, and it's fine. But if you're on a path of being with your soul, understanding the soul journey, then you're here with us and you're feeling this, and the sensitivity is okay. The discomfort is not nice, but it's okay. It's part of the process. Like, it's not going to be comfortable all the time. And the breaking free is nice, but only to just be the rebel, it's not going to be helpful.
Yeah, I see what you mean by this.
We're going to build, like, we want to build bridges. We don't want to burn bridges all the time.
Yes, that's what you mean also
the
by
restlessness.
Yes, yeah. There's that energy of, okay, we want to do something different, but are we looking at doing something different, not only for ourselves, but for also the next generations? And the answer can be, you know what? I don't care about the next generations.
Be okay with it.
And it's fine. It's also fine, tackling again, I don't see at this point, after just being in the so-called spiritual world for a bit of time, still a baby. There's nothing right or wrong. When people talk to me about sin, I'm committing this, and
it's
this.
a Plutonian theme. Sin is a Plutonian theme. We're getting there. We're getting to the taboo of subjects.
Yeah, and in this part of the world, everything is under the table. It's all behind the curtain. And when we are talking about things, and even, doing this, it's like, this is so weird that because we're doing it in probably the most natural way, it has to probably have a kind of a hidden intention in the background, and it does not. So it's like, here we are.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this, because the principle of Pluto, if you think of it mythologically anyway, anywhere you read about Hades and the Lord of the Underworld, what is the underworld? In order to go to the underworld, there are some rules and regulations. You have to be stripped of the ego, of there are stages for you to go deep in the underworld.
Yeah, it's the journey of Inanna, it's the journey of Ishtar, it's the journey of
and in order to be
Isis.
able to do it, there is a stripping process. So, like she said, this discomfort for us to be so natural about, our conversations is part of our integrating these kind of energies, because the Muse podcast, this is how I got inspired by Maya, is about integration.
Oh, yes.
How do we integrate?
Oh, yes.
And I wanted you to talk, and this is the new moon for this. This new moon is actually the first in like the 20 years, about how are we integrating all these belief systems after healing, after, spiritual paths and pathways.
Yeah, entering deeper journeys where there has been a lot of shedding. I mean, the integration is such a big theme for me now, where the most of the focus is on that. Somehow the focus shifted from really going into ceremony. I'm still going into ceremony, but there's a shift of focus towards living. How, when I was giving yoga classes for many years, there was always the reminder of yoga is not only the practice on the mat. Yoga is the practice outside the mat. Yoga is the practice when you're driving.
That's
Yoga
integration.
that's integrating yoga. It's anything, and we mess up and we get angry, and it's not about committing a sin. It's just how fast are we getting back to hey, alignment. And sometimes we don't. Sometimes taking things too seriously, which I can raise,
Present.
I'm known as the serious shaman here. It's part of it's funny. It's really, really
It's
funny.
funny to take yourself seriously. I keep thinking it.
And when I hear those echoes, it's like, seriously? Okay, fine. It's an honor to be to hear this. At the same time, it's funny because it's two sides of the coin all the time. The maestro I used to work with, he used to say, if the ceremony doesn't get too serious, it won't be funny. So he used to laugh
Yes.
in the most intense times in ceremony, because laughter would allow things to just soften and ease, and just people would start laughing and laughing. And I think also integration here is very much related to, as serious as we are or we look, we do our very best to relay also the non-technical stuff, the spirit of what we're sharing here. And we know it takes patience to relay and continue, and consistency, but I think the Muse is really the integration of a journey that has been all about being inspired for me. And this is something, if I'm not inspired, I can't live life in a more fuller and fuller and fuller way. And so, as you said,
well, the inspiration is part of the divine, right? Like the connection with the divine comes through inspiration and laughter.
Yeah.
Laughter is really like, you feel like, okay, you're connected to like a divine creator. That's why you're able to
you're
laugh.
touching on a state of insanity, which is also, how deep can we go while connecting with that underworld? And there's more planets, you said, that are meeting with Pluto.
Yeah, that's the thing.
After the new moon.
That's why, guys, is anyone feeling this? Like, I told Maya, there is the feeling that the background noise that you usually hear, and that you're used to a sort of a dim sort of noise, and then suddenly someone amped it up. It's like intense, and it's in the mental realm.
Yeah.
Everything is happening on the mental realm. The play is happening between air element, Aquarius, where Pluto is, and Uranus in Taurus, and Jupiter is following up the path of Uranus. So it's air and earth, and all this breaking through and breaking free, and you can have some insights during this new moon, because this is the breakthrough, but you need to adjust. Don't expect it might be back and forth until you get it, until you feel like, practicality comes from the earth part of the energies, and the mental realm, all the thoughts, the gossip, maybe the talks, the how we do things, the beliefs. This is the mental realm. This is air elements. And there is a need of adjustment. How do we do this kind of progressing practically? This is like the kind of, to make it simple for people, just we're talking about how to do this practically on the practical level of each and every one of us. It might feel like somebody's not doing their work in your world. You're ready to go about it, and somebody messed up and didn't deliver on time.
This like is you're talking about daily life stuff.
Yeah, this is the kind of energy of Uranus. It's upsetting. It's like, but the breakthrough is like, how can I be more independent of these kind of people that are not doing their work? This could be like a practical thing. right? So this new moon has this kind of volatility,
No, no.
instability that we're feeling already. And
On a scale of 0 to 10, how volatile are you feeling?
yes, that's the game. That's the hashtag for this episode.
We wanna raise it right in the comments
Yeah.
when you listen to this episode.
How volatile are you feeling?
And
How
how probably are you tackling this volatility? How are you, are you meeting with it? Because, as Joelle is saying, there's a lot happening at the mental level. And Aquarius is about, it's an air sign, right? But when we talk about air, the medicine of air is about communication, is about connection, is about also spaciousness. It's
yes.
about movement. It's about when I feel stagnation, can I bring movement in?
Yeah.
When I feel like I am overthinking, can I clear, not, and it's not about shutting the mind down, is how can I shift the focus to something that can bring the attention again and again and again to the body.
Yeah, because the three signs, the air element signs are, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. And each one of them tackles the mental process differently. So what Aquarius wants to do is to create systems for the humans to just move along, create like
Move with it.
Yeah, and create, like, if you think of it, the water bearer, the sign of Aquarius, it's about this human who thought that he could bring the water from the river to the settlement of humans,
To the
So
human realm.
yeah, so the thing is, the water was always there, but the thought process of bringing water and irrigation, this is how Aquarius is concerned with the system. It's not like Capricorn. Capricorn is concerned with the system to keep it traditional, to keep, things foundational. But Aquarius is on the other side of the barrier. It's like, okay, we have a system. How can we change it in order to make it more humanistic, more fitting everyone?
Yeah, more in line with the well-being of all. And I think this is very much where, in this, whatever we can call it, transition, transformation, metamorphosis, this whole movement, the speed. We're in February already, and it's like, wow.
And at the same time, you feel like January was so long.
It's it's and how can I address, or how can I choose something while expressing the truth of who I am, in lightly, not too seriously, at the same time, in line with my well-being and the well-being of all. Can there be a prayer like this? When I hear elders talking about, when we do something, if we're only doing it for ourselves, it's incomplete. It has to also include the well-being of others. It doesn't have to be specific, but it harmonizes. It's symbiosis.
Agree.
And it's not about, are the others listening? Are the others, receiving it doesn't matter. It doesn't
But there
matter.
is an intensity now. There is a sort of an obsession that we might feel, and some people are feeling, like obsessive thoughts is the Pluto and Aquarius era.
Yeah.
Like where we're obsessed with, maybe algorithms, because air element is about, data and, communication, and we're all somehow using the phones. We're technology. So about this obsessive kind of thinking about others and how others are receiving us, and if we are, enough in regards to this communication process with others, ethics, everything is in the mix. We're approaching after the after the new moon, we're going through, the famous Valentine's Day. and it's, you know, the new moon is technically happening on the 10th. It's actually the 9th at night. But on the 13th, the energy is going to pick up because on the 14th of February, which is Valentine Day, Mars is meeting Pluto in a hard aspect. The hard aspect is when a planet does a sort of a geometrical aspect to another one. And conjunction, when they're at the same degree, is a hard aspect. It means that, you know, I'm with Maya and we need to move together, which is very uncomfortable for both of us. On the 7th and 8th of October,
2023,
Mars was in an angle, in a square with Pluto at the end of Capricorn. It feels like, and we know here in the region what happened. And unfortunately, it's still happening. And unfortunately, there's so much, you know, the powers at play are, you know, it's an obvious game of power. The thing is, we might have an answer for these kind of energies. The answer might not be comfortable, but it's another chapter of the story. Now, on a personal level for people, it's still Valentine's Day all over the world. People are buying gifts and cards and
consumerism.
Of course.
Yeah. What you're describing here when it comes to and in a symbolic on a symbolic day where people actually, which is nice, when people meet with the intention of love, at least there's a commonality there. We hope that whatever can happen,
I mean, be held. Keep in mind that, you know, the intensity is double between, I mean, Mars is about, you know, assertion, violence, and anger, and, you know, so meeting with a planet.
Some people might break up, actually. We don't know.
Hopefully not, but the thing is, when Mars meets Pluto, it's always about the energy of abuse. Either being aware of the energy of abuse or feeling like you are, you know, somehow depleted. You're giving your power away. It's all this kind of game of power that is being heightened. It's not a comfortable feeling at all. The thing is, if we keep it in mind, it's like a series of planets now meeting Pluto at the 0 degrees of Aquarius, as if like
stand in line.
Yeah, as if Pluto.
Wow.
I mean, I know I look happy about it. It's not. It's like a nerd kind of.
But I'm imagining it. It's like stand in queue to meet the Lord of the underworld.
Exactly. And at the gates, at 0 degree, at the gates of Aquarius, you want to go into Aquarius mode? Okay, this is how we're playing it now. It feels like that. It's a bit intense. But what actually Pluto wants to do with every planet going into the, you know, the realm of Aquarius now is to strip it down to its core essence. Because from when you're stripping it down, when you're going back to the core of the archetype, there's empowerment in that. But, you know, if you're putting up a show for the ego, it's not going to work. It's going to be destroyed. Authenticity is the key with Pluto. The authentic
That's
game.
why I love Pluto.
Me too.
That's also why I love
but
Pluto.
It's a bit, you know.
Yeah,
it's becoming like a client of mine texted me the other day.
Let's call it that's the medicine of Pluto, you know. That's where the alchemy happens.
Agreed.
You know, where it's like, yeah, you know, there's challenges in every possible way, especially when, you know, as you're saying, when you read charts for people.
A client of mine was like, isn't it a bit too much of intensity? I'm like, yeah, it's Pluto.
Right.
And she has, you know, Aquarius rising. So it's the first house. So, by the way, if you're wondering how to do this for yourself, just, you know, pop up your info on our website, like astro.com, where you can have your birth chart and know where Aquarius is for you, because understanding how it's functioning in
which house, Yeah.
And the houses are sectors of your life where this is playing out. It kind of gives you an idea. Of course, you need an astrologer if you want to go deeper, but if you're just curious about it, it's nice.
Yes, and we have the astrologer here in case you want to get in touch with her.
Hello.
Anything else, Joelle, happening in the next couple
right after Mars meets Pluto,
Okay.
it's Venus. Venus is meeting Pluto. So
Wow.
we're having Mercury encountered Pluto on the 5th of February. It was the first personal planet to meet Pluto. Then we're having the new moon, the two luminaries in, co-present in Aquarius. So we had this encounter of the sun and the moon with Pluto. And then, 14th and then the 17th, we're having Mars and Venus meeting Pluto. It's telling us something. And like she said, it's as if they're standing in line. These planets represent archetypes, represents principles in our life.
The feminine, the masculine.
The feminine and the masculine. The data and the communication, Mercury. Everybody is like, okay, what is this new era about? And it feels...
We're building it by the day. And that's the beauty in what is happening. I find that there's so much that can happen, that we are resetting a whole dimension of humanity by being human, not by transcending and getting enlightened, and by just unifying with I don't know what, by just being really embodying the expression of who we are. I find this to be of utmost expression of vulnerability and beauty and purity.
Vulnerability is Pluto, because
as well.
You feel, Pluto makes something big, it makes it so small that you're like, okay, you completely forget about it. Or something that is so small, you feel like it's like the biggest drama of your life, but it needs you to focus on the authentic. What needs to be shifting now? The stripping part is about, do you still want to live unconsciously? Or we're just, moving along with the story of our soul?
To each their journey, and again, there's something very much prevalent in my world, that is the theme of community. I think we're also going through building community in a completely different way, friendship in a completely different way, sisterhood in a completely different way, and the world of assumptions that can happen is just collapsing, because truth is showing regardless. And it's like there is a birthing of, again, something that we're still not able to touch. There's excitement, there's angst. That's a word that Joelle mentioned yesterday. And there's also, I don't know, a sense of thrill, while also the body is going through sicknesses and just purging and releasing. There's a lot going on. So we hope you are taking care of yourself. We hope you're able to slow down if this is available for you. And if not, the body will stop you.
Yes. If you're interested in building community with us, this is what we're preparing, honestly. We have a Q&A on the 22nd
of February.
We're hoping to build community with you guys, people who are interested in, embodying these seasonal changes that we go through. We have a nice program that we have built.
We called it the Rhythmic Journey of Life. It's already on my website, www.inspirited.world. It's already on my LinkedIn and in Joelle's, references also on Instagram. I'll be mentioning it again in the newsletter.
Yeah.
And noting the Q&A day, which is February 22nd, which was 22/2, which seems nice.
Yeah, especially after all these Plutonian kind of encounters.
Yeah, because we are doing things in twos.
Yes.
And that's the basically, if we want to get inspired by what community can be, we also need to just be creative and have our eyes open.
Yes, and
the values of what community is, and also honoring everybody in the space where with their own role and role play.
Yes, and if you feel like, you are interested, you don't need to know about astrology or shamanism. You just, if you're interested in, if you're intuitive, if you're on a healing journey, healing needs integration.
Indeed, it's an integration journey.
Exactly.
Actually.
We use these tools for integration. I have used astrology for more than 20 years, honestly, around 30. I'm a bit, ashamed to say that, but it's been so long.
500 years ago.
and Maya has been like 15 years plus.
Yes.
In the world of, shamanism and healing modalities. And integration is essential for us to do life
eventually.
And it's nice to do community together. It's nice to be able to find people who are like-minded. It's an exclusive program. It's a private program.
We'll be live with you in every session. There's one session every month.
Yes. And you're going to have, some, PDFs from me. You're going to have your birth chart if you don't have it already. For you, drawn from the software, and you get to accompany these seasons, understanding the elements, understanding that life is not only about the intellectual part, it's about as well like we completely disconnected as modern humans, we completely disconnected from the understanding that until now we are in winter season, right? So, and then we're gonna have spring, so we're gonna emerge, look around you, things will be blossoming again. So
it's fascinating because also that part of the spring equinox, there's now the Imbolc, something called Imbolc, which is quite more of a Celtic tradition, and it is perceived as the beginning of somehow the first shoots of so-called spring. So it's fascinating because we just finished also 2-3 weeks of rain, and the sun came out today, and somehow the earth is just starting to take a different breath, and we are doing this with the earth and going on a journey, being accompanied, it's an exploration that is mutual. At the same time, feeling that you're talking a language that is being heard. The way we are doing here, when we're talking about, we give some insights about shamanism. We give, Joelle delves a bit deeper because the Muse for now has been revolving around astrology. There has been a kind of a planetary alignment between shamanism and astrology. The next episode probably will be released in between the full moon and after. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna be recording another episode of the Muse, starting to bring people who are in the world of integration, experts in the field, because that's really more of what the Muse wants to bring in, or not once, but the alignment, the inspiration of the Muse. And your echoing back to us is what also inspires us.
Yeah, it's essential, honestly. If we're doing this only for us, it's just,
Indeed.
Actually, we're doing it for us. We're having so much fun.
Actually, yeah. I mean, this is where, today, before we started this episode, if you're still listening, by the way, that's great. Thank you very much. I was laughing like crazy. This one was just sitting and watching me. She's like, I look like a little cockroach.
I did my own crisis before that.
Just laughing and like, how are we gonna do this? It's just gonna be super. There's no middle screen between us, and it's like we're just gonna,
It's Pluto. It's merging us.
So that's
Yeah.
also where and there's gonna be hopefully more as
More of this.
more of also people coming in and helping and supporting technically, which we are excited about. It's all about this alignment and resonating and sharing this passion, and that's also the basis of the rhythmic journey of life. So I moved a bit into what the Muse is about. Again, what the Muse brought in for both of us to relay such a program for 1 year.
Rhythmic journey of life. Sign up, and we're waiting for you.
The link is on my website. I'll be, there's going to be a sign up for the Q&A on February 22nd. It's going to be around 6 p.m. Beirut time.
We're going to put the other
and the
times.
different times in case you're
come and join us.
Join us to learn more, to raise your questions and answers. We're going to be presenting more what this journey is about and talking more about it. And you can raise your questions, and we will be there to answer them. And excited. Yes. May you have a blessed new moon. Take care.
Take care.
Many blessings, and
bye for now.
Bye for now.